Siri, I need a great speaker for our May meeting.
How about Scott Friedman?
Why Scott Friedman?
He's fun, entertaining, doesn't sweat or drool when he speaks. He's inspiring, interactive, and his content is very relevant for business today.
So I recommend that you don't get out of bed in the morning without turning on your GPS.
Recalculating. Turn left ahead, and you will have reached your destination. Unless you want to continue being a stupid jerk with a crappy attitude, in which case your destination will be a crappy life. Good luck with that.
This is really the crux of the Celebrate program, to create a celebration mentality based on inclusivity, gratitude, play, and surprise, keeping your GPS turned on.
G51.
Is it one of those stock presentations?
No, with over 30 years in the industry, Scott prides himself on creating customized material based on the relevant needs of the audience.
Everybody wins!
If you didn't get bingo, you did something wrong.
You ever been to a dinner party and you're in the toilet, you're in the bathroom, and somebody rattles the door to get in, you know? You know, normally you'd say, I'm in here, be out in a minute. Next time, try this. Come in. I've been waiting.
Is he one of those prima donna speakers?
Far from it. His goal is to make life easy for the meeting planner and make them look good.
Two guys haven't seen each other in a long time. How do they respond? Like giant Pez dispensers. Honey, who's that guy? That's Frank. You remember Frank? Frank is the guy that gave me the kidney. Hey, Frank, thanks again for the kidney. Have another Pez.
I'm watching a speaker with a friend of mine, and the speaker falls off the stage. Once we realized there was no blood, my friend turns to me and says, hey, what would you say right now if you fell off a stage? So I thought about it for a quick minute, and I said, oh, I'd probably say something like, oh, don't mind me, it's just a stage I'm going through. I said, what would you say? He's like, well, now take questions from the floor.
Siri, is he a decent human being?
I think your mother would like him. He has won the Cavett Award, the National Speakers Association's highest honor. The Rise Award from Meeting Professional International for Global Leadership.
Finally!
And lots of other cool awards that make him a legend in his own mind. Watch the rest of this preview video and I think you will agree.
The highest form of humor is the ability to laugh at ourselves. If you can laugh at yourself, in a sense what you're saying is that you accept your flaws. We all have them. You accept your foolishness. And you accept your imperfections. And then people can't laugh at you. They have to laugh with you, right? If you can laugh at yourself, you will always have something to laugh at.
Many people think that celebration at work is a little bit light, but actually it's just the opposite, because it creates engagement. Engagement leads to greater productivity, team performance, and profitability. It truly brings you closer not only to your staff, but your customers as well.
We define celebration as acknowledging all that is good. The good work that you do, the people that you do it with, the people that you do it for. It's when your to-do list becomes your done list. It's celebrating the little and the big milestones along the way. You see, celebration in itself is a disruptor, right? It's a way of looking at life. It's a philosophy about life. It's the lens to which we see our world.
All right, anybody celebrating divorce? Anybody going through a divorce? Finally! Yeah, freedom in your life. Anybody celebrating menopause? Anybody going through menopause? All right, so why don't we start off a program on celebration with a little celebration? Because it helps put us in the celebration mentality.
I think what makes me unique is that in the 30 plus years of doing this globally, speaking in over 25 countries now, that I bring a global perspective and a cultural sensitivity to each program that I give, and I I know what relevant value looks like, so I can write customized material for that particular group that means something to them.
What are some of those opportunities to lose our sense of humor? Siri, what do you think? What are some?
Communication, disengaged employees, uncertainty, trying to find the right place to park, politics.
What we take organizations through really is how to turn on your GPS. The reason that celebration or any engagement activity fails in most organizations today is because it becomes institutionalized. It becomes stale.
This is the way we've celebrated birthdays for 50 years around here. First Tuesday of the month, we sing happy birthday to all the October babies, and then we serve that same stale sheet cake we served the month before, and then we get back to work.
So it's surprising people with what's highest on their joy list, what intrinsically motivates them, and how can you give them a little bit more of that in their lives.
Play starts with a good sense of humor. How many of you think you have a good sense of humor? That's it? Okay, how many used to have a good sense of humor? How many have never had a sense of humor, but you think there's still hope? Okay, good.
If I wanted my dad to lose his sense of humor when I was growing up, all I would have to do is bring home my report card. 7th grade C's and D's. He beats me to the mailbox. Dinner time, pulls out my report card. He says, "Scott, what is this?" I said, "Dad, it's one person's opinion. Do we need to talk about it?" One person's opinion. Yeah, I think we need to talk about it. How come Andy doesn't get C's and D's on his report card? Andy was one of my best friends growing up. I could never quite measure up. I said, "Dad, you can't compare me to Andy. We are so much different." He says, "So are you. How are you so much different?" I said, "Dad, Andy has very bright parents."
I've had the same employee for nearly over 25 years now, Nancy McGraw. After 1 year of working together, we sat down and we said, okay, how can we better serve each other? And how can we better serve our clients? We came up with one idea that made all the difference in the world: job descriptions for each other, which were the exact same, to create each other's perfect world. My perfect world revolves around more joy, less hassle. I think all of our perfect worlds in some way do, right? I want to be able to come and go as I please, the freedom to create, the chance to make a difference in the way that I want to. So if you ask Nancy what she does for me, she'll say the stuff that doesn't show, which is just about everything. Nancy's perfect world, she said, revolves around anything that doesn't have to do with accounting and technology. I said, fair enough, we'll order out. We do. She said, and I want to spend more time with my son, David. David was going to school, living at home, and I said, great. Summertime, take a little bit more time off. Our boundaries are a little bit wider. We'll make it work so you can spend more time with David. We did. Then David went off to college. And so I knew if I wanted to incentivize Nancy, it would involve David, right? I mean, if we want to intrinsically motivate people, we have to find out what those motivators are. We just need to pay more attention, or ask questions. So now David's going to school when Nancy's 50th birthday rolls around. So David had to be part of the plot. He calls a couple weeks before the big birthday. "Oh, Mom, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to come home for your big birthday. We got a test, I can't make it up. Have to make it up to you." She was disappointed, she understood. Morning of her 50th birthday, she's working a half day. Phone rings. She thinks it's a client by the way that I'm talking. October 23rd, can you hold on a minute? "Nancy, can you do me a favor? Can you run to the trunk of my car and grab my road calendar out?" She'd done this before. My car was right outside. It was there that day. Goes out to my trunk, opens up the trunk. There's David in the trunk. Surprise! And once we revived her, she was somewhere close to her perfect world. All right, so how can we create the perfect world of those that are in our lives? What does that look like as far as providing that kind of level of service to our clients? How can we tap into what's highest on their joy list? We can use planned spontaneity when we're trying to determine where our customer is at. Maybe it's simple. Hey Bill, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you'll probably never sign, we'll probably never do business together, and 10, you're ready, you're there. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
7, okay? All right, what is it going to take to make it a 10? What do we need to do to make this deal?
It's all how we frame things in our mind. I love Larry Wilson, who wrote the book Changing the Game. He was the youngest member ever of the $1 Million Round Table for insurance sales. After 1 year in the business, he looked at his numbers, how much he made that first year in the business. And then he looked at the amount of calls that he made, telephone calls. And he found, if you divided those numbers, that every telephone call he made was worth $25. So he knew that at the end of every day, if he made 2 extra sales calls, how much would that be worth to him? $50. This is one sharp group. Yeah, $50. So he would say to himself after every call, thank you for the $25. Thank you for the $25. And we come up with all the reasons in the world why it's not going to work. And we don't allow ourselves to go after the big things in life because for whatever reason we don't deserve it or we don't think we can have it, right? If you believe you have limitations, you do. If you argue for your limitations, they're yours. But the only limitations we really have in life are the limitations we place on ourselves. How big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do if you didn't know you couldn't do it? You see, there's really no such thing as unrealistic goals. Maybe unrealistic time frames. But if you want something bad enough and you're willing to give up whatever it takes in your life to have it, you'll find a way to make it so.
About 2 years ago, this is in Colombo, Sri Lanka. I check into my room after a pleasant experience at the front desk, and this is the photo I find in a frame on my bedside table. This is a picture of me and 8 kids from Myanmar that are now living in a home that Together We Can Change the World built in Luang Prabang, Thailand. Now these kids, the refugees, have been through hell. I mean, no better way to tell it. And they are the most lovely kids you could ever imagine. I see this photo on my bedside table halfway around the world and I'm thinking, oh, that is so nice. How do they even know about Together We Can Change the World? Now I'm thinking, anything that happens at the hotel after this, it doesn't even matter. I got the photo. No warm water, only cold water the entire time. No big deal, I got the photo. You know, hey. Food poisoning. I couldn't get out of bed for 2 days. No big deal, I got the photo. Hey, it's no, I couldn't send emails or receive emails. Internet wasn't working right. Oh, okay, that's crossing the line, all right? You gotta have good internet when you travel. I'm kidding about the water and but the point is, right? You want to create true connection. What do? You tap into what's highest on people's joy list. You surprise them. You build better relationships. You can't be so self-absorbed. We need to think more about other people than we do about ourselves.
How cool is that? Tapping into what I'm most passionate about. Wow.
Siri, you're right. Scott is the perfect speaker for our May meeting.
Smart lady.